Hi, okay, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is the second part of hopefully a 4 or 5 part personal testimony where my father-in-law, Cecil, he will introduce himself again. He's going to share some of his life story and some of his experiences over in Pakistan. So welcome, Cecil, my father-in-law. Would you introduce yourself and continue sharing from where we left off before? And it's great to have you again.
Thank you, Andy. My name is Cecil. In England we call it Cecil. In Pakistan, India we call it Cecil. So my name is Cecil Javed Williams, and Williams is our surname, and the middle name is Javed. Well, in the second part, I want to share two more things from my previous um, previous talk. You see, the first thing was when I was a little kid, maybe I don't know, maybe about 2.5 or 3 years. I used to play at the main gate of the church where my grandfather was a priest. And it was a dusty road, and there used to be dust and sand, and I used to play in the sand and in the dust. And there used to be many passersby, and some of them would say, "Oh, whose child is this?" And I don't know from where I picked it because I was only a kid. And I would say in Farsi or Persian, "Kakae Padriya,"
Which means what?
which means I'm a child of priests. Kakae Padriya, child are from the family of priests. So nobody knew. My mother told it. I don't remember it, but my mother told me this thing that this used to happen there. And then afterwards, when I've grown and I became a priest, you see, then I realized that actually God put me in my mouth, and I was, telling people about my destiny.
Wow. Just a quick one for like people listening. Is this a priest or a pastor in the Anglican or the Roman Catholic Church?
No, no, no.
Yeah,
That
a priest in which denomination? Because people might not know.
No, no, that's afterwards. You see that I will tell.
Okay.
But I'm telling about my when I was a kid, what happened at that time.
Yeah, yeah.
So God put it in my mouth that my destiny is going to be a pastor or priest anywhere. At that time, we don't know,
Right.
but it
Okay.
will come up afterwards.
Yeah, okay.
So this was a strain that, and we all believe, we believers, we all believe that we have a destiny and God knows our destiny.
Amen. Yeah.
And sometimes He reveals our destiny to us in our lifetime. So this was one thing. Second thing that I want to share about, it's about the partition of India and Pakistan.
Wow.
When I told you that we migrated from India side to Pakistan side because of my father's that whatever he had committed to the people of the village, and we had to come to take charge and start all the proceedings of the school. So I do want to share that this partition was horrendous. You see, it was so. But I don't know what should I tell you. But when we started from Dhariwal to come to this Pakistan side, then we tried to, it was, I don't remember now, but I think it was Amritsar station in India side, and we tried to board a train which was loaded up and down, toilets everywhere, you see on the roof, and everywhere people so much, desperate to move them. Obviously, these are Muslims going to Pakistan. And we tried to board the train, get into somehow, but we could not because we had some luggage as well. And
Is this your father and you as a little boy?
a little boy, you see,
And
it's only
anybody else?
my family, you see, I mean,
Right.
my father, my mother, and my auntie, my father's sister as well.
Right. Okay.
We were three, and myself, and there was my very small little girl, my sister as well.
Ah, right. And you were 5 years of age?
5 years old.
Yeah.
Yes. And she, of course, I think must be about 3 or something like that.
Mm.
Anyway, so we could not board that train, and then we decided that we should not try it, and we had to stay on the platform for about, I think, 2 or 3 days
Wow.
to
Goodness
wait
me.
for the next train
Goodness.
because we could not go back. On one side it was all the killing going on, so we did not try to go back. So we stayed there on the platform. The next train came, and about this train which we did not board, we came to know afterwards that the other Sikh community, they stopped the train and killed everyone on the train.
Oh my lord!
So-
the train that you couldn't get on.
Couldn't get on.
Goodness me.
So perhaps that was God's plan that we could not board the
For
train,
sure. Yeah.
board the train. You see.
Goodness.
So then the next train came. It was with I don't remember, but I think it was perhaps police or army with that train. So we boarded that train, and then we came to Pakistan area. The station was Gojra, which is a big market of wheat and cotton and all these things. It is still very famous about this market. So
Goodness me.
so then this is how we reached our place, you see. And I do share this thing. I've shared it with other places as well, that this is what happened to these people at that time, at the time of partition.
Goodness me. And that's of course back in 1947.
That was 1947 in the month of August.
August. Yeah.
August. After 14th of August.
Right.
In between 14th of August and 31st of August is in
Right.
between that. And afterwards as well, but we don't know because then we moved to Pakistan side. So this I do want to tell you the experience that if God has a plan in our lives, if anything comes on us, any destruction, any persecution or any circumstances change, then God saves us for the purpose that He has in our lives.
Amen. Amen to that.
Now, I told you that I studied in that school, and of course we studied in this Urdu, because it was Urdu medium school, and English was from the class 6. Class 6 we used to start English, ABC I mean.
The
English,
the
not
basics.
at the basics, ABC only.
Yeah.
From class 6, you see, onward. And from that class, we used to have at least seats, benches, where we could sit. And
Good. Yeah.
so it was not
Yeah.
floor that we were using at that time.
So this is really kind of high school, isn't it?
High school, that was
Yeah,
high school,
yeah.
yes. So I did my matriculation from that. At that time, it was known as matriculation, metric. So I did pass my matriculation, and then I had to go to college, and we were trying to find out a good Christian college, and since my dad has studied in that college, so he wanted me to get the admission in that college. That was Murray College, which is
Murray.
now Murray, which is now a government college. After that, nationalization. So I did go to that. I got admission there. It was my first year, and there used to be some elections, student selection, this and that. Fortunately, I mean, not many people knew me at that time because I was a new and I had come nearly, I think, from a distance of more than, I think, maybe 200 miles.
Yeah.
So nobody knew me. But even then, I don't know how it happened. But they selected me or elected me as student chaplain
Ah,
in my first year.
goodness.
I was student chaplain, and my duty was to hold certain, prayers and services with the students in the chapel. So from the very beginning, and at that time we used to go out. It was Sialkot, a very famous city in the world nowadays even, because a lot of this sports material is prepared there. These footballs, all these hockeys, and these balls and everything you see, and surgical material.
Ah,
Still,
right.
it's famous for surgical material.
Mm.
And nowadays, it's an airport. It was not airport at the time, but nowadays it's an airport also. So I was in Sialkot, and in Sialkot we had this SCM, that is, everybody might know that it's for Student Christian Movement, SCM.
Excuse me.
And we in groups would used to go to bazaars and sing psalms there and preach gospel there in the bazaars. And sometimes people would come, stay there, and they would throw stones on us, you see.
Really?
Yes. Sometimes there were certain these boys, because we only boys were going out, not the girls, because it was a combined, mixed college. But of course, the girls, ladies was not much; they were few. But even then, so sometimes they got wounded as well from the stones, you see.
Right.
So this was our life in that college. So I did.
And what were you studying in the college, in
I was
Murray College?
I was studying science subjects.
Science.
Yeah. That was because there in science there were two branches. One was engineering, and the other was medical.
Okay. And
So-
had you always been interested in science, or?
Well, I liked it. You see, I liked physics mostly, and
Right.
chemistry was a bit difficult for me.
I think chemistry is difficult for everyone.
Yes. But anyway, I did
Matriculation.
No, not matriculation. It was, we used to call it FSC,
Right.
Faculty of Science.
Okay.
Faculty of Science, you see. And then my did my BA, that is Bachelor of, by left science, and then did my BA. BA is Bachelor of Arts. So I tell you another interesting thing, that there was a marriage on India side of my uncle's daughter, and we had to go to India on that marriage, because my father's brother said, you must come, because this is my first daughter, and your participation will be quite honor for us, you see. So my father tried for the visa. At that time, these embassies were in Karachi, not in Islamabad. There was no Islamabad at that time. Embassies were not there. It has newly started, but still nothing was there, you see. So he had to go to Karachi to this, and they would not give us the visa. because they knew what was going to happen. And we didn't know what was going to happen.
What was going to happen?
I'll tell you. But anyway, my dad was a bit, he went to the ambassador and had a meeting with him and said that please give us the visa because we want to go to this marriage of my brother's daughter. He said, okay, I'll give you visa, but this will be known as the restricted visa. Restricted visa.
Right.
And you don't have to move anywhere else. Stay where you go.
So this was all part of the political...
No.
Kind of-
I'll tell you.
Okay.
I'll tell you.
I'm very impatient.
Anyway, so we had, and then we tried. We thought that it was only for 10 days visa because it was restricted visa, and it was only for 10. After 10 days, we thought that we should get it extended.
You were expecting to get it extended?
No, not expecting. We thought that we should get it extended. You see.
Okay.
My not me, but I mean my father. But then we thought, no, it's better to go back. So God perhaps put it in our hearts that we should not stay there because there was some disturbance on the border of India and Pakistan. So God put it in the minds of my parents that we should not stay there, we come back. So we said, okay, we'll go back, we'll come back again when we get visa. So we came back, it was in 1965. And there was tight security on the borders, very tight security, and very, lot of questioning, especially my father. Where were you? What did you see? Were you there? And so many things, you see. So we came back, and we were still in Lahore. Then the big war of India and Pakistan started.
Oh, goodness. 1965?
No, 1965, yes.
Yeah,
1965. If we had stayed in India, we had been prisoner of war.
Goodness me.
Yes.
So that's what you mean by these people in India. They were reluctant to give you a visa because they knew...
No, we didn't apply. We didn't apply for visa.
Yeah, the original.
That was originally,
The
yes, in
original.
Karachi. That's why they were reluctant to give visa.
So they knew what they were going to do. Really.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
Wow.
So anyway, we came back,
Goodness me.
and there was most of the Pakistanis, they know, and the other people also know that up to that moment, the biggest war of the tanks, yes, was in that time in the war of India and Pakistan.
Right, so
biggest in the world.
Yeah.
Yes, at that time.
What you mean that the Indian army and the Pakistani army had a lot of tanks?
India of course had a lot of tanks.
So there were a lot of battles using tanks.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Wow.
And but anyway, I think perhaps God helped the Pakistani army.
Who knows? Yeah.
I don't want to at this time go into the details of the war.
Yeah. But obviously God was providential. God guided you and got you back, so your dad could continue his work and you his studies.
And then it was I had already passed my BA, so I got admission in the Institute of Education and Research in Punjab University, and I did my MA in education.
Right. So you switched from science to education.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It's a teaching.
Oh,
Teaching
okay.
sort of
Like a
course, you
teaching
see.
qualification.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So
But
that
it's
was.
MA. It's MA in education. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is with a view to becoming a teacher.
Becoming a teacher. Yes.
Right. Okay.
So I passed that, and during this time, it was in 1966 when I was married, and
Ah. Yeah. Tell us a bit about that then, because obviously I know Esther, who's now gone to be with the Lord. A wonderful woman. How did you first meet, or was it arranged?
no, it was arranged, but since she was from the same village where we were, and we know each other, and because she studied in that school as well, and so it was not altogether strange for me. You see.
Right.
So anyway, I mean, she was in Quetta at that time.
Quetta.
Quetta. Quetta is a very lovely place. You see, beautiful. I don't know. It's perhaps I think 8,000 feet high from the sea level.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
It's a bit higher up in elevation.
Quite high. You see, and quite cold. I mean, during the winter, a lot of snow there, and
wow.
you see, and sometimes there is usually many institutions have, and the army people and police, they have got guards, and there were such incidents that the guards would die of cold during their duty. You see.
Wow.
Yes. So it was quite cold. You see, in Quetta, but very beautiful place, mountain place, and there we came to know about Karez. Karez is the system of supplying water to people, because it's a stony place. It's not only hilly place, it's all stony place. And to save the water from the some of the springs, you see, they would dig a channel which is covered from the upper side, and water flows underside. You see,
Okay.
that is known as Karez.
Yeah.
So we came to know about that, you see. And we lived there and my wife was there. It was a girls' high school, St. Teresa Girls' High School, I still remember. On the Togi Road at that time, it was known as Togi Road, but now the name is changed. And she was there as principal, you see. And so after I passed my this MA in education, I went there, and I'm with my wife, you see, there in Quetta.
So you went to be a teacher at the school where Esther, your wife, was a teacher?
No, that was a girls' school, and I was not allowed to teach in the girls' school, because it's a very strong, typical type of area, you see.
Yeah,
it's
a culture,
Hazara tribe area. Hazara tribe, it's an area, and the school was among the Hazara tribe.
Right.
So anyway, so I could not get a proper job, you see, there. Anyway, I don't know why, because again I say that God has some plan in our lives.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I could not get a proper job there.
Thank God for that.
And it was in the President Ayub's time. At that time, President Ayub was the general in the army, and CMC in the army at that time, and he took over he turned over the political government, and took the government and became the president in Pakistan.
Of course he did.
So yes. So these people, you see, Balochistan is always, doing something against Pakistan. Perhaps I don't know, I should say it or not, but I mean, there was some difficulties there, and people had turned against President Ayub, and even the Punjabi people there in Quetta, and there was a lot of killing of students there, and
Oh, damn.
so we were
This is the late 60s,
uh,
1969, 1970.
68.
Yeah.
68. It was in 1968.
Mm.
So it was a winter vacation, because winter vacation there, because of this cold, it used to be of 3 months. So, and still I think it's still 3 months.
Mm.
And so we used to move from there and come back to our village, stay there for 3 months and then go back.
Right.
But this time, since the circumstances were not so good, so we resigned from that post,
Ah.
and we stayed there hoping to get a good job in Lahore, or I wanted to be near my parents somewhere.
Right.
So maybe Lahore or Faisalabad or something like that, you see. That was. But I could not get. It's again, I say that it's always the plan of God in our life. I could not get any place anywhere in the schools here and there in Lahore and Faisalabad or anywhere, you see. Then I said to God that wherever you take me, I will go. Whatever circumstances, I will work.
Right. Wow.
So I made this commitment with God, and soon after that, I got a job in Peshawar. Peshawar is at the border of Afghanistan, nearly quite close to the border of Afghanistan.
Was that was quite a way away from where you were?
Oh yes, yes. It
Yeah.
was very. It was. I
A
mean,
long way away.
long way. It was about I think 12, 13, 14 hours journey at that time,
Yeah.
because the roads were not good, and train would take this much time.
So you made this commitment to God that wherever He would lead you, and then sometime later, a few months later, He spoke to you somehow and guided you to the northwest frontier area.
Yes,
wasn't it?
yes, yes.
Wow. What did you think of that at the time? Was it a shock, a surprise, or?
No, it was not shock, because I had committed to God, so
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
to fulfill it wherever He takes me, and I have to work. So I went there, and went to Peshawar, and in Peshawar, when I went to the school, I was so much disappointed.
Ah.
So much disappointed.
And sorry, and obviously your family is with you. Your
No,
wife. You've gone together.
No, first I went myself, because my other the other daughter who is in Canada, she had just born, so I couldn't. It was only, I think, a week back, you see, so I could not
I
ask.
see. So you had a newborn baby.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I'll come back maybe after 15 days more, and then we'll go
Yeah.
back. So that was it. So I was very much disappointed, but I said, I made a commitment with God, so I can't move on. And amazingly, when I joined this job, amazingly, I was offered a very good job, a very good job in Rawalpindi, and a very good job in Lahore,
Oh,
a
my
very
goodness.
good job in
Like after this.
after I joined this.
Yeah. So,
After I joined this.
yeah.
So I got very big cities, very posh cities, good cities, quite near whatever.
Mm.
So I was in a really
Quandary.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
but then again, I remember that I made a commitment, so I have to stay here.
Wow. Wow.
Anyway, so I started my work there. Then my uncle, my dad's sister's husband, he had gone to Nigeria.
Oh.
Yes, he was teaching there. He was professor. Yes, he was professor in college there,
Mm.
and from there he went to Nigeria to teach there in a I don't know, but it was a college or a training college or something like that. You see, so he was there, and he sent me the papers to fill in the papers and send to him, and he will get me job there. You see,
In Nigeria?
yes.
Goodness me, what did you think of that?
Well, I'll tell you. But I read those papers. I filled in half of the form. I left it, and then started thinking over it. What should I do? Well, then I thought it's better. First of all, it's my commitment here.
Mm.
I don't want to go. The second thing is, if I go away from here, my parents are all alone. Nobody is there to look after them.
Mm. Mm.
So I should first give the priority to my parents, and second is the other thing is my commitment. So I just locked those papers, which I think I destroyed those papers in about 2000. You see,
Wow, all those years they were kept.
all those papers were locked up in my box. You see.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, I didn't go. You see. No, in that area, I was appointed in that school. You see, I was appointed as a second, what you call,
Deputy.
a deputy headmaster. You see, like that. So after about 10 years of my doing this job, the predecessor, you see, he retired,
Mm.
and I was appointed a head teacher there. You see, it was Lahore diocese at that time. Now, from there, you see, it started something else. You see.
Should we have a pause now and continue it on the next session?
I think so, because
Okay,
that's
fantastic.
that's a long story.
Yeah. Okay, so for now
So, okay.
we'll pause the story there, and we'll continue in part 3 of Cecil's story.